What inflation actually is the loss of value in money. And so if you've got $10 today, a year from now, the way inflation is, you'll be able to buy the equivalent of $9 worth of stuff with that $10. So the purchasing power is going down. When you think about things like precious metals, because every time there's inflation, you hear all over the radio, all over TV, buy gold, buy platinum, buy silver. Okay, well, precious metals, what they do is they're a more stable store of value. So you may not be losing the value that you would if you stayed in cash. Your $10 today will still be worth $10 of purchasing power a year from now if you're holding that in gold. But when you purchase a capital asset, like a business or like real estate, something that not only has a tangible value to it that may stay the same or increase over time, but that is also a producing asset so that you're generating a cash flow along the way. I think that's where you really have an opportunity to set yourself up for success, because if you could buy something today for $10 that was still worth $10 a year from now, but that also made you an additional $3 between now and then, well, hey, I mean, that's even better. And if you hold on to something like that over time, especially in an inflationary environment, you not only retain the value of your wealth, but you actually put yourself in a position to increase your wealth even though you're in an inflationary environment. And that's what I would encourage people to do, is look for opportunities right now. If you have the savings and if you have the cash available, to convert that cash into something that will not only retain its value over time, but that can actually generate income for you along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. And what I would encourage everybody is to not run out of patience. Very important, right? Because we're Matt and I are right there with you. We're out there looking for the same deal as everyone else. We're telling everybody else to look for. So um, it's hard. You want that deal, right? You want to move forward, but don't overpay for that deal. Don't run out of patience and make a hasty decision. You know, in my experience, the best deals are the ones that are win-win for both sides. And I know a lot of people listening probably don't think that's possible. How can buyers and sellers both win? Well, you can, and I'm here to tell you that. I've been involved in deals. Most of my deals, 95% of my deals, everybody wins. And the 5% of the deals where somebody doesn't win, it just doesn't end up good. You never, it's to have one person walk away from a deal feeling like they lost just doesn't end up good, doesn't build relationships. So you don't want to be that person that makes a purchase because you ran out of patience a little bit and you just wanted to get down the road so quickly that you end up being a person that regrets that purchase, so that decision. So just slow down. You might have to look at a little more deals than customarily you would have to look at, but it'll be well worth it in the end.
Yes, you're exactly right. And that brings us back to the kind of the fundamentals of what our program is about, right? Doing things purposefully and with intent. And one thing that you and I've talked about in the past is kind of the development of the individual as we mature. And in the beginning, when we're getting started as young adults, we're just we're trying to make ends meet. We're trying to balance our budget personally, make sure we can pay the bills, make sure, we maintain reasonably good credit. And if we're lucky, we start to save a little bit of money, right? But once you've managed to get stable, you put yourself in a position where you can enter the career growth stage. You can focus on advancing, you can focus on taking advantage of career opportunities. but you're still building something, right? Well, the ultimate stage, and this is something that you and I are both really big on, is the legacy stage, right? How do you put what you have to work accomplishing something that's important to you? What are people going to remember you for? Well, if you have a game plan for your life, whatever it may be, and you kind of understand what phase you're in and where you're trying to go, if you're making these kinds of decisions because they're helping you accomplish your goal, then you're doing the right thing. It may not always turn out the right way every single time, but you're making the decision for the right reason. And that's really the point, Don't do it because you're afraid of missing out. Don't do it because you're panicking. Don't do it because of an emotional impulse that says, I think I'm going to win big if I do this. Look at it objectively. Does this, by all reasonable measures, help advance me toward my goal? And if the answer is yes, it does, and it does so in a way that's worth the effort and worth the investment, then pull the trigger,
Yeah.
whatever the economic environment is.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree. And if you do that, at the end of the day, you're a winner, right? Whether you win or lose in that particular deal, whether you have successes or failures, you're going to have failures, but just keep moving forward purposefully and intentionally for the right reasons, and it's going to turn out right for you in the end.
The Purposeful Podcast.